The first time Sarah saw him, he was trying to decide whether to jump. Not from a rooftop, from a bridge. Snow fell around the Han River, turning Seoul soft and white. Under the bridge, it was anything but soft. Just concrete, rusted beams, and dark water below rushing like it was hungry. He stood on the wrong side of the railing. Shoes on the narrow ledge, fingers gripping metal gone slick with ice, head down, black hair dripping. No coat. In February. In Seoul winter. No coat. Sarah's voice came out sharper than she meant when she shouted, "Hey!" The boy flinched. His sneakers slipped. Her heart jumped into her throat. But he didn't fall. He turned his head just enough that she could see his face. Korean. Maybe 16, 17. And absolutely wrecked. Blue lips. Raw cheeks. A bruise blooming along his jaw. Eyes so empty they made her chest hurt. She didn't know him. Didn't know his story. But she knew that look. Someone who'd already left. Their body just hadn't caught up yet. "Don't," she said firmly. The boy stared at her like she was an annoyance, a glitch in his plan. His English was accented but clear, flat as the river when he responded. "You don't even know what I'm doing." "You're not birdwatching," she shot back. "Get down." His voice was cold. "Go away." Sarah didn't move. No. Here's what nobody tells you about saving someone. It doesn't feel heroic. It feels terrifying. Because if they jump, you have to live with that. She walked closer, boots crunching frozen snow. Traffic roared overhead. Everyone rushing somewhere warm, no one looking down. The boy said it again, more desperate this time. "Seriously. Go." But Sarah wasn't backing down. "No. You jump and I have to live with that. I'm not doing that today." His mouth twitched like he wanted to laugh but couldn't find the energy. He observed the obvious. "You're American." Sarah rolled her eyes. "Wow, observation skills. You're freezing." He tried to sound convincing. "I'm fine." She wasn't buying it. "You're shaking." He had an excuse ready. "It's cold." She had the answer. "Because you have no coat." He looked down at the black hoodie clinging to his frame. Soaked. Thin. He muttered, "It's enough." Sarah didn't hold back. "It's pathetic." His head snapped toward her. Dark eyes flashing. There. The first spark. Anger beat apathy every time. His voice went hoarse as he swallowed hard. "Why are you talking to me?" Sarah's answer was simple and devastating. "Because nobody else is. And because it's Valentine's Day and I refuse to watch you make it everyone's worst anniversary forever." He blinked. Snow caught in his lashes. He sounded genuinely confused. "It's Valentine's?" Sarah nodded. "You picked a dramatic day. Get off the ledge." The emptiness settled over his features again. "You don't get it. There's nothing left." She tried a different approach. "Then come tell me about nothing on the right side of the railing. If it's so empty, it can wait 5 minutes." He closed his eyes. For one awful second she thought he was going to push off. Instead his fingers moved. White knuckles loosened, hands slid along the railing. Right foot, left foot. He stepped back onto the path. Her lungs remembered how to work. Up close he looked even worse. Clothes wet. Nails dirty. The bruise on his jaw old and yellow at the edges like he'd taken more than one hit lately. He wouldn't look at her. Sarah shrugged off her long black coat. Winter air slapped her bare arms, but she didn't hesitate. She swung it around his shoulders, tugged it forward until it closed over his chest. He stiffened like she'd struck him. "What are you doing?" She was matter of fact, trying to keep you from turning into a popsicle. Arms. The coat swallowed him. Too big, too long. On her it hit just above the knee. On him the hem almost reached mid-thigh. He protested weakly. "You'll freeze." Sarah shrugged. "I have layers. You have that sad hoodie and bad decisions." That almost laugh again. Then he pulled the coat. Tighter like the warmth hurt. Sarah asked gently, "What's your name, Popsicle Boy?" He flinched at the nickname. Then after a pause he answered, "June. Han June." She introduced herself. Okay, Hanjun. I'm Sarah. He tried the name slowly. Sarah? She smiled. Close enough. Now sit. She dropped onto the concrete barrier at the river's edge. Stone bit through her jeans. She didn't care. When he hesitated, she gave him an ultimatum. Sit, or I start singing badly until you run away in self-defense. One corner of his mouth lifted. The tiniest smile. He sat. Sarah broke the silence first. Why here? There are like 100 other depressing bridges in Seoul. His answer was quiet. It's quiet. She disagreed. Quiet is overrated. But June had his reasons. It's better than being yelled at. Or hit. Sarah's voice softened. Who hits you? He shrugged one shoulder like it was nothing. Anyone with hands. Men in the alleys. Cops. Drunk office workers who don't like seeing a face like mine sleeping near their buildings. He said it like facts in a textbook. Sarah asked carefully, How long have you been out here? He frowned in thought. Since November, I think. She corrected him gently. It's February, June. He already knew. I know. Winter is long. She studied his profile. Sharp nose, chapped lips, shadow of something old and tired in his eyes. You don't have family? His answer was bitter. Not one that wants me. My father died. The others. His jaw clenched. It doesn't matter. Sarah pushed back. It matters if you're under a bridge about to swan dive. His jaw clenched tighter. This isn't your problem. But Sarah had already decided. It is now. You climbed on my bridge on my Valentine's walk. You're officially my problem. He looked at her like she was strange. You're weird. She took it as a compliment. Thank you. Here's the thing about rock bottom. Sometimes it takes a stranger with a backpack full of kimbap to show you there's still ground beneath your feet. She twisted around, grabbed her backpack. Inside was a heart-shaped container. Her Valentine's lunch. Kimbap her mom made that morning. A chocolate cupcake from the convenience store. She stared at it for exactly half a second, then popped the lid. Sarah held it out. Eat. He resisted. No, it's... She cut him off. It's not optional. You eat, or I start emotionally blackmailing you. I'm very good at it. I have a black mom. He stared at the food like it was a trick. I can't pay you back. Sarah didn't care about that. I didn't ask you to. Now eat before I throw it in the river for dramatic effect. His fingers trembled as he took the container. The first bite was almost violent. He stuffed too much in his mouth like instinct told him someone might snatch it away. He chewed fast. Eyes closed. Made a tiny sound. Something between a sigh and a sob. Sarah looked away. Gave him privacy to fall apart over rice and seaweed. He didn't stop until the container was empty. Licked a grain of rice off his thumb. Froze like he'd been caught stealing. He whispered, Sorry. Sarah's voice was firm. Don't apologize for eating. After a moment, she asked, Still feel like jumping? He stared at the water for a long moment. No, not today. Sarah smiled. Good. I'd be mad. You still have to pay me back, remember? He frowned, confused. You said I don't... She interrupted with her real meaning. Not with money. With time. You owe me exactly one Valentine's Day where you're not on a ledge. June was still confused. What does that mean? Sarah leaned forward, eyes narrowing playfully. It means 10 years from now. On Valentine's. If you're alive and not locked up, you have to find me and buy me something stupid and romantic. Like disgusting pink cotton candy. Or a fake rose from a street vendor. He repeated it like he couldn't believe what he was hearing. 10 years? She explained her reasoning. You need time to get your life together, right? 10 years is generous. I could have said 5. He stared at her like she'd suggested the moon. I won't even remember this bridge in 10 years. Sarah lifted her wrist, tugged off the cheap red string bracelet she always wore. Cotton thread, knotted clumsily, ends frayed. She held it out. Give me your hand. June hesitated. She reassured him. Relax. I don't bite. Unless you steal my food. Then I might. She looped the bracelet around his wrist, fingers careful and sure. The red string stood out against his pale skin like a small defiant flag. "There," she said with satisfaction. "Now you'll remember." June looked down at it. Red string. Like fate. Sarah teased him. "You believe in fate?" His answer was small and honest. "Not before. Maybe a little now." Then his fear crept back in. What if I become worse? What if the things I have to do to survive? What if you hate who I am when I find you? Sarah's answer was simple. Then you still find me. And let me decide. His voice dropped to almost a whisper. You'll probably hate me. She was honest, right? Back. Maybe. Maybe not. But if you vanish, I get to hate you for sure. For breaking a promise. Slowly, he nodded. 10 years. Valentine's Day. Sarah added the details. Seoul. Still here. Somewhere. I'll be the one eating tteokbokki alone looking fabulous. He asked the practical question. Where do I find you? This city is big. She had faith in him. You'll figure it out. If you forget my face, look for the loud black girl rolling her eyes at couples. When it was time to leave and he tried to return the coat, Sarah stopped him. Keep it. You look better in it anyway. I'm giving it to you as down payment. He didn't understand. Down payment? She explained. On my future Valentines. You show up warm and alive. Then you can give it back. Then I'll find you, he said. And there was nothing fragile in his voice now. It was a vow. I'll get out of this. I don't know how. I don't know what I'll have to do. But I'll survive. I'll build something. I'll come back to you better than this, and I'll find you, Sarah said softly. Happy Valentine's, June. He echoed it. Happy Valentine's. She walked up the path, forced herself not to look back until she was almost at the top. When she did, he was still there, watching her go. One hand pressed over the red string on his wrist like he was afraid it would vanish if he let go. If you've ever made a promise you thought you'd never have to keep, drop a like right now. Because what happened next? Nobody saw it coming. Seoul had changed in 10 years. Steel and glass clawed higher into the sky, but the snow still fell the same way. Soft. Relentless. From the floor to ceiling windows of his penthouse, Han-jun watched it blur the city into lights and shadows. The world said his name quietly now. Not Han-jun, the boy under the bridge. Lee Jun-han. Chairman Lee. The ghost of Seoul. He wore the name the way he wore his suits. Flawlessly tailored. Impossibly expensive. Dangerous when you got too close. A low voice cut through his thoughts. Hyung. The Hongdae deal is ready for your signature. June didn't turn immediately. He let the silence stretch just long enough to remind Min-seok who controlled the tempo in this room. Then he spoke. Put it on the desk. Min-seok obeyed. Papers rustled behind him, precise and efficient. June asked, Anything else? Min-seok delivered his report. Just your schedule for tonight. Valentine events across the city. Our clubs are full. The gang from Incheon tried to make a move in Itaewon. We stopped them. June's response was calm and cold. Good. Make sure they don't get up again, Min-seok confirmed. Yes, boss. Then June asked the question that mattered. And the American? The air in the room thickened. Min-seok straightened a fraction. We found her. June turned away from the window. Show me. A profile filled the screen. Name, Sarah Brooks. Age, 26. Nationality, American. Occupation, English teacher, part-time content creator. Location, Seoul, South Korea. A grainy security camera. Image, a woman walking out of a subway station, bundled in a thick coat, braids tucked under a beanie, tote bag with English textbooks peeking out. Even in bad resolution, June could see her face. Brown skin, dark, expressive eyes, full mouth curved around a laugh. The world shifted under his feet. 10 years. 10 years of fights. Of blood. Of deals signed with men who would slit your throat over a misplaced comma. 10 years of building an empire out of the shadows that once tried to swallow him. He had money now. Power. Buildings with his name hidden in shell companies. He'd forgotten the taste of hunger. He had not forgotten her. Not once. June's thumb drifted to the inside of his left wrist, under the cuff of his shirt, beneath the smooth face of a black Patek Philippe. Something rough brushed his skin, a red thread, faded now, frayed in places, but still there. He'd never taken it off. He asked quietly, "Where?" Minseok gave the location. Hongdae. She teaches at a language academy, then does live videos at night. Storytelling. Romance, mostly. June repeated the word like it was dark and amused at the same time. Romance. Minseok continued. She tells stories like movies. People subscribe, they comment. It's a thing. June murmured in English almost to himself. She always wanted to be dramatic. He switched back to Korean. Set a meeting. Minseok's tone stayed neutral, but June heard the layer beneath it. With her? June confirmed. Yes. Minseok asked carefully. How do you want to approach? Through the academy? Through a business front? Or? But June had other plans. His lips curved, not quite a smile. Tonight is Valentine's. I told someone once that I would find her on Valentine's. Minseok observed. You remember the exact day. June's gaze sharpened. I remember everything. Find out where she'll be tonight. Not where she lives, where she goes when she wants to feel less alone. Here's what they don't tell you about keeping promises. Sometimes the person you swore to find has built a whole life without you, and sometimes you've become exactly what they'd run from. When Minseok left, the penthouse fell quiet again. June stood alone in the high glass box overlooking Seoul. Snow falling beyond the windows. He touched the red thread. For a moment his mind wasn't in this penthouse. It was under a bridge. With a girl who called him pathetic, then gave him her lunch. Who wrapped cheap string around his wrist and said 10 years. He said the name softly in the empty room. Sarah. It felt the same. Sharp. Warm. Dangerous. He whispered to the empty penthouse. I found you. Now let's see if you still want the Valentine you asked for. Hongdae on Valentine's felt like someone had poured glitter over chaos. Neon lights, street performers, couples in matching coats. The night air was grilled meat, sugar, and cheap perfume. Sarah hated how romantic it was. She spoke into her phone camera walking backward. Okay, family. Live from Hongdae, where everyone is either on a date or pretending they're not lonely. The chat exploded. User 143. Girl, we here for the drama. Winter Bear. No date cause my standards are too high, thanks. She smiled at her screen. Bad Valentine? Babe, you are looking at one. My date tonight is editing. And instant ramen. And you guys. Hearts flew up the screen, but she had a question for them. Since it's Valentine's, let me ask you something. Have you ever made a promise you thought you'd never have to keep? The chat slowed, then surged. Heartbreak Kid. Why that sound ominous? Nuna for hire. Wait, are we finally getting Bridge Boy lore? Sarah laughed. You guys are too smart. Yes, it's a bridge story. And no, I am not ready to tell all of it. Yet. Her viewers weren't having it. The fake outrage poured in. She relented. Fine, I'll give you the PG-13 version. 10 years ago on Valentine's, I met a boy. And not in a cute way. He was about to do something stupid near a river and I yelled at him way. She continued the story for her audience. I gave him my coat, my lunch, my favorite bracelet. And he gave me a promise. He said 10 years from now, I'll find you. I'll be better. I'll buy you a real Valentine's. Sarah finished with a smile. So if some random half-frozen Korean man tries to buy me cotton candy tonight, I guess I have to let him. The chat exploded again. Manifesting him right now. If he didn't keep that promise, we jump. Girl, that's a Mafia man now for sure. Sarah shook her head at her phone. You've all watched too many dramas. Anyway, my school made us teach extra classes today, so this is my reward. Street food, neon, maybe a cat cafe if my toes don't fall off. She slowed near a stall steaming with tteokbokki. The ajumma behind the counter waved a ladle and called out, "Come, come, spicy, good for cold night," Sarah told her viewers. "Chat, I'm ending this live in a minute so I don't drop you into boiling sauce. But before I go, if you've ever kept a promise way too long, drop a heart." Hearts spilled up the screen like confetti. She said softly, "Happy Valentine's. Be kind to yourselves tonight." She tapped end live. The screen went dark. 10 years. He was not going to show up. She knew that. She'd known that for years. Still, some small stubborn part of her had dragged her to the bridge last year, and the year before, and the year before that. Just in case. Tonight she'd told herself she was over it. The ajumma asked again, "Miss tteokbokki?" Sarah nodded. "Yes, please. Not too spicy. My stomach is a hater." She dug for her wallet. A man's voice said in smooth Korean, 2 portions, extra fish cakes, and odeng soup. Something about the tone made the hairs on her neck rise. Calm, low, like a song played too quietly on expensive speakers. A man stood beside her. Tall, black wool coat open over a dark suit. No scarf despite the cold. Snow dusted his shoulders and hair like the world had tried to soften him and failed. He wasn't conventionally handsome in a soft, idle way. His features were sharper, more grown, strong jaw, straight nose, mouth that looked like it rarely smiled, black hair slicked back with a few strands falling artfully forward. His eyes were dark, deep, focused entirely on her. Something in her chest lurched. The ajumma beamed. "Ah, handsome. Date?" Sarah held up her hands quickly. No. But the man said at the same time, "Yes." She snapped her head toward him. He looked calm, unbothered, as if declaring himself her date to a stranger was the most reasonable thing in the world. He added smoothly, "We're together." "I'll pay." Sarah protested in English. "I have money." He replied in English as clean as hers. "I know. But I owe you dinner." Her pulse stuttered. That voice. Not the sound exactly. Deeper now. More controlled. But the way he clipped his consonants, the rhythm in his vowels. She asked carefully, "Do I know you?" His answer was cryptic. In a way. Not an answer. They took opposite sides of a small, standing table. He set her bowl in front of her. Movements precise. No wasted motion. He told her, "Eat. You haven't since noon." Sarah froze. "How would you know that?" He explained like it was obvious. "Teachers always skip meals on grading days. And you walked straight past 3 other food stalls before this one like you were bargaining with your budget." Her eyes narrowed. "Are you following me?" He met her gaze evenly. "Yes." Her chopsticks stopped halfway to her mouth. "You just admitted that." His response was simple. "Lying to you seems wrong." She challenged him. "You don't even know me." But then he said her full name softly. Sarah Brooks. 26. From Atlanta. English teacher, storyteller. Likes instant ramen more than is medically advisable. Cries at animal shelter commercials and pretends she doesn't. The bowl in front of her blurred for a second. She forced her hands to stay steady. She started to ask, "How?" Then cut herself off. Her heart was beating too fast. She said, slowly, "Okay. New theory. You're not just a creep. You're a very prepared creep." He almost smiled. Prepared. I like that better than stalker. Sarah pushed back. It's still stalking. He didn't flinch. If it makes you feel safer, pretend it's a background check. That made it worse. Why would you need to do a background check on me? He set his chopsticks down like this required both hands. He undid the top button of his glove, slid the leather off his left hand, rolled his sleeve back. A sleek black watch glinted under the harsh stall lights. Beneath it, tied around his wrist like it had been there forever, was a faded strip of red thread. Sarah's breath left her in a soundless rush. No. No, no, no. The string was thinner now, faded from bright crimson to dull wine, frayed in 3 places, but the clumsy knot in the center. She knew that knot. She'd tied it in the dark under a bridge hand's freezing heart racing. He said quietly, no accent now, the English coming out smoother and richer. 10 years. Valentine's Day. Seoul. Teokbokki. I was supposed to buy you something stupid. Her fingers went numb. She whispered, June. His mouth softened just a fraction. Sarah. If you're not subscribed yet, you're about to miss the craziest part. Because this is where it gets dangerous. Sarah breathed out. What happened to you? June's answer was simple. It's a long story. She shot back automatically. I like long stories. He smiled slightly. I know. He'd watched her content. Probably more than once. She gestured at all of him. You're not homeless anymore. His answer was quiet. No. You fixed that. Sarah scoffed. Me? I gave you lunch one time. But June corrected her. You gave me a reason. The way he said it made something low in her stomach twist. She muttered, Don't say stuff like that casually. I'm not emotionally stable enough for that. He smiled then. Really smiled. It transformed his face, took 10 years off and slid something boyish back into his eyes. He observed, still dramatic. She retorted, still rude. 2 men in dark coats brushed past the stall, talking too loudly in rough Korean. One hissed to the other. Told you that's Lee Junhan. His companion cut him off sharply. Shut up, you wanna die shouting his name in public? Sarah's chopsticks paused mid-air. The name slid into her ears before she could block it. She glanced up. June's jaw was tight. His eyes had gone distant again, flicking to the side tracking exits, calculating angles. She asked casually, even though she already knew the answer in her bones. Who's that? He took a sip of soup. Nobody you need to know. Sarah wasn't letting it go. Funny. Because those guys look like they were about to pass out just saying his name. That doesn't sound like nobody. His gaze cut back to her. Sharp. Warning. Sarah. She leaned on the table, lowering her voice. Are you in trouble? He hesitated, then answered honestly. Always. She didn't find it funny. Not funny. Neither did he. Apparently, I wasn't joking. She set her chopsticks down carefully. What are you now? Really? He watched her for a long moment, searching her face for something. Permission, forgiveness, an escape route. Finally he answered. I run things. She noted. Vague. He allowed a bit more. A group, a network, businesses, people who owe me. She felt the words more than heard them. I'm not stupid, June. I live in Seoul. I know what a network of people who owe you usually means. A shadow passed through his eyes. I didn't come here to lie to you. Sarah pushed. Then don't. Say it. Silence stretched. Behind them, someone dropped a tray. Metal clattered. A couple laughed too loudly. He said quietly, I built a syndicate. The one that used to hunt boys like me. Now they work for me. Or, they're gone. The words hit like cold water. Sarah translated voice flat. You're Mafia. He didn't flinch. If you need a name for it. Her chair scraped back a centimeter. You found me on Valentine's. Like you. Promised. But you left out the part where you became every girl's runaway type in the process. He looked startled, then almost amused. Every girl? She warned. June. He sobered. I did what I had to do to survive, to make sure no one could ever put me under a bridge again. Sarah tried to understand. I get that. I do. But you also became the storm that knocks other people under. His fingers tightened around his chopsticks. That's not... She cut in. True? You don't hurt people? He was silent too long. Finally he said, There are lines. Rules. Sarah asked the important question. Yours or the law's? He looked down at the red string on his wrist. Mine. She murmured. That's the problem. He inhaled slowly. I knew you'd see it that way. You always had rules. Sarah's response was dry. Like don't die on Valentine's. Yeah, I'm wild like that. He huffed out a breath, then asked suddenly, do you regret it? She didn't understand. Regret what? His answer was quiet, stopping me. The question punched straight through the practiced sarcasm. She stared at him, then said, every day. Every day I wake up and think, wow, I really saved a boy so he could grow up to become a crime boss. It's my favorite thought while I brush my teeth. His eyes flicked up, searching her face. Her voice softened. Of course I don't regret it, you idiot. You're alive. That's the bare minimum. Something in his posture relaxed. She added reluctantly, you're still you. Under all the drama. But he disagreed. You don't know that. Sarah pointed out. I know you're still wearing that bracelet like it's welded on. That counts for something. Their eyes met. A current of something hot and familiar moved between them. Then her phone buzzed on the table. A notification lit up the screen. Lexus Academy urgent. Her chest tightened. She tapped it open despite herself. The email read, Sarah, please come to the office Monday. We need to discuss a complaint. From Director Lee. Subject parent complaint. Urgent meeting. One of our major sponsors has raised serious concerns about your online content and behavior. We must speak in person. Her stomach dropped. Her gaze snapped to June. She demanded, did you do something? He frowned. What? She asked more specifically. Did you call my academy? Or send someone? You've been following me, did you? He said sharply. No. Sarah, I would never threaten your job. She pushed the phone toward him. Well, someone did? He read the email. His expression shifted. The temperature around them seemed to drop. He asked, what content? She explained. My stories. Apparently telling romance stories on YouTube is a national security threat now. He went very still. What's your channel name? She blinked. Seriously? Priorities? He said one word. Please. The please threw her, she told him. He pulled his own phone from his coat, fingers flying. She watched his face as he scrolled. Recognition dawned. Then something else. He said slowly, your latest story. About a ghost in Seattle, a syndicate turning legitimate, a girl who gave a hungry boy sandwiches. Her mouth went dry. You watched that? He didn't answer. He didn't have to. He said quietly, you told my story. Sarah shot back. Not your story. A story, loosely inspired by a situation. His response was sharp. You put it online, for anyone to see. She tried to reassure him. Relax. I changed names places. But he snapped. You kept the debt. They both froze. His voice had cut sharper than the cold. People at the stall glanced over, sensing tension. Sarah lowered her tone. So? It's fiction. Nobody knows it's about you. June corrected her. People like me watch things like that, Sarah. They look for themselves in the shadows. In the details you think no one will notice. She scoffed. You think your gangster friends are sitting around watching my romance channel? He said with no hesitation. Yes. She opened her mouth. Closed it. Okay. Fair point. He continued. You made yourself a target. By telling stories about men like me. Someone connected you to me. Or wants me to think they did. A chill crawled up her spine. Why would they bother? I'm nobody. His gaze went hard. Don't ever say that again. She snapped. You know what I mean? I'm not rich. I'm not in your world. I teach teens how to say I did my homework in correct past tense. Why would anybody use me to get to you? June explained. Because I watched your videos. Because I made comments from accounts I thought were untraceable. Because I asked people to track you down. She stared at him. You left a trail. He nodded once. And anybody who wants leverage would follow it straight to you. A shiver ran through her that had nothing to do with snow. She said weakly, Cool. Love that for me. He said abruptly, We need to move. She didn't understand. Excuse me? He explained. This stall is exposed. Too many angles. Too many people. Come with me. He started to step away. She didn't move. Sarah. He paused. She said carefully, I'm not yours. You don't get to snap your fingers and drag me somewhere because your alternate personality pissed off the wrong men. He turned back slow. The look on his face was complicated. He said, You saved my life. You gave me a promise. And then you built stories over it like armor. Now that armor has cracks. If someone puts you in my line of fire. Sarah? She interrupted. That's on them. Not on you. He disagreed. I disagree. She muttered. Of course you do. His jaw worked. He said again, quieter this time. Please. Just for tonight. Let me get you somewhere safe. After that you can decide if you ever want to see me again. Her heart stuttered. She should say no. Every survival instinct screamed it. But, you saved my life. I'll find you. 10 years, she said finally. I have boundaries. He replied instantly. Name them. She listed them. No locked rooms, no phones taken, no men with guns crowding me like I'm a witness in some drama. You talk to me like a person? Not a problem. His eyes flickered like he wasn't used to being negotiated with. Agreed. She added. One more. He waited. She said. No killing anyone. Because of me. Or near me. Or while I'm within a 2-kilometer radius. The corner of his mouth twitched. I can't promise no killing ever. My world doesn't work that way. She shot back. Then maybe I don't want your world anywhere near me. His gaze locked on hers. Pain flickered there for the first time. He said slowly. Okay. Then I'll give you a different promise. She folded her arms. I'm listening. He said with each word measured. For as long as you're with me, no one dies because of you. No one touches you. No one uses you as leverage. If they try. He didn't finish. He didn't need to. She grabbed her bag and slung it over her shoulder. Lead the way, Mafia boy. But if you try anything, I start narrating this like a live story and expose you to your own men. His eyes lit with something disturbingly close to pride. There she is, the girl under the bridge. She rolled her eyes. And there he is, the boy I should have shoved into therapy. He laughed. Low. Warm. People turned to look surprised to hear that sound from a man like him. Snow caught in the glow of Hongdae's lights as they walked. Somewhere behind them, a man in a gray coat watched phone lifting to his ear. He reported in Korean, She's with him, the girl from the stories. Yes, I'm sure. He smiled, small and vicious. Tell the boss we found his favorite weakness. At the corner, a black sedan idled. A suited man stood by the passenger door scanning the street. When he saw them, he bowed. Boss? June acknowledged him. Min Seok. We're changing the plan, Sarah repeated. The river? Why are we going near more water? This feels symbolically messy. June looked at her. You wanted something stupid and romantic? The city sells that by the meter at Han River on Valentine's. She stared at him. You're taking me on a Mafia field trip to the Han River? She warned. Front seat's mine. If I'm sitting in the back like a hostage, I go live and tell everyone you're holding me for ransom in sliced rice cakes. He said easily, take the front. Here's the thing about second chances. Sometimes they come wrapped in danger. Sometimes the person you saved becomes the person who has to save you back. The car pulled away, leaving Hongdae's noise behind. Through the window, Seoul streets passed. Bright storefronts fading to quieter residential blocks, then the open curve of the river road. Sarah broke the silence. Okay. Explain the rival obsessed with my channel. June leaned forward slightly. He's old guard. Someone who liked the world better when boys like me stayed under bridges. Your stories make monsters look human. He hates that. She asked, Isn't that therapy? He should try it sometime. June explained. He thinks it's weakness. He also thinks I got weak when I started watching them. Min Seok said from the driver's seat. You did. Just not in the way he thinks. Sarah glanced back. You watch my stuff too? Minseok's ears reddened. My girlfriend does. She makes me. Sarah smirked. Sure. June's mouth tilted. Then he said quietly, he's right. I did get weaker. I started caring what someone outside this world would think of me. That's dangerous here, Sarah countered. Or healthy, depending on your therapist. Or your YouTube algorithm. Lights from Bampo Bridge glowed ahead, rainbow arcs already misting off the side toward dark water. As they rolled to a stop, Sarah asked, Why here? June answered, Because everyone can see us. Too public for an ambush. Too many witnesses for anyone to be stupid. She muttered, That's the first time I've heard too many witnesses used as a safety feature. He said simply, Welcome to my life. They got out. The air by the river felt colder, sharper. The water moved slow and black under the bridge, reflecting the kaleidoscope of lights. Min Seok hung back near a bench, phone in hand, pretending not to watch every passing face. Sarah and June walked along the path side by side. For a minute, it felt almost normal. She asked quietly, You ever think about that day? Under the other bridge. His answer was immediate. Every morning. She swallowed. I came back the next day. And the day after. Just to check. He surprised her. I know. I watched. From across the road. I was already running by then. She said. You didn't say anything. He explained. I couldn't. If they saw you talking to me again. She cut in. I get it. They walked a few more steps. She blurted. Why didn't you come sooner? Like 5 years ago. Or 3. Why wait the full 10 like you were on a timed side quest? He was quiet for a beat. Then said slowly, Because if I came as nobody, you'd feel sorry for me. If I came as almost somebody, you'd feel scared for me. I needed to come as someone who could protect you instead of needing you to protect me. Sarah said softly, That's not fair. To either of us. He nodded once. I'm learning. They reached the middle of the bridge. He stopped. The wind tugged at her scarf at his coat. Snowflakes caught in the glow of the lamps falling slow. He said, Sarah, there's one thing I didn't tell you in Hongdae. She warned, If it's that you secretly hate Teokbokki, I'll push you in. He said instead, Someone leaked that story. The one you told about the ghost in Seattle. They sent it to him. With a note that said, Recognize yourself? Her skin went cold. So someone's trying to make you paranoid. Using my channel. He confirmed, yes. And I don't like playing on someone else's board. She asked, Who? He looked at her. Someone close. Someone who knows both our worlds. I thought it was one of my own. I was wrong. The hairs on the back of her neck rose. He explained, Your sponsor. The man who complained to your academy. He wanted you scared. Worried about your job. Easier to push. She frowned. How would he even know you exist? He's just some businessman who brings his kids to my class. June corrected her. He's more than that. He launders money. Mine. And theirs. He thought if he could make you unstable, I'd make mistakes. She asked. And? He admitted. And he was almost right. Until you yelled at me at a street stall and reminded me who I am when you're looking. Her chest tightened. What did you do to him? He told her. I cut him off. Pulled everything he was hiding for us back into my hands. Then told him he had 24 hours to retract the complaint, or I'd hand his accounts to the tax office. Her eyes widened. You weaponized taxes. He shrugged. You said less violence. She confessed. That's weirdly hot. He blinked, then laughed low and surprised. You are dangerous. She replied. You started it. He sobered. He also passed a message, from the other side. Sarah asked, What message? June quoted, If he cares about her, he shouldn't bring her out tonight. Accidents happen near water. She went still. Then why are we here? He explained. Because if you stay home, they know they can move you. If I hide you, they think they've already won. I don't bend to threats, Sarah, not when it comes to you. She said slowly. So your plan was to bring me to the exact kind of place your enemy threatened and what? Out-romance them to death? He replied. Almost. She stared. He nodded behind her. Across the river on the opposite bank, a cluster of dark figures stood under another lamp. Even from here, she could feel their attention. He asked. See them? She confirmed. Yes. He explained. They see this too. They see I didn't hide you, that I still brought you here, that I'm closer to you than they are. She observed. That's not a strategy. That's an ego problem. He corrected. It's a signal. To them and to my people. That I'm not stepping back. That if they want me, they come direct and leave you out. With a small motion, he signaled toward the shadowy figures across the river. A moment later, like a cue, the opposite group dispersed. Some walked away. Some got into cars. The pressure in the air eased. Her shoulders dropped. You brave for them. Then you send them home. He said, I'm done letting them write our scenes. He turned back to her. The rest of tonight is yours. Her breath caught. Then here's what I want. No more talking about enemies. No more tax threats. No guns, knives, or strategic monologues. Just one promise and one kiss. That's all I want to end this night. His eyes warmed. What promise? She reached for his left wrist. He let her. She slid his watch up just enough to reveal the faded red string underneath. She said, 10 years ago, you promised to find me. You did. So now. She pulled the knot gently open. His breath hitched. He asked, What are you doing? She answered, resetting the clock. Carefully, she unwound the old thread, then took the even older one from her pocket. The original she'd found sewn into the coat. She tied the two together and looped them back around his wrist, doubling the bracelet, making one new circle from the frayed pieces. She said while knotting it firm, This time, you promise to stay. Emotion flashed raw across his face. She continued, No conditions. You work on making your world less bloody. I work on making my stories less reckless. We both work on not running when it gets hard. That's the deal. Something in him seemed to loosen and lock at the same time. He said, I promise. She commanded, Say it properly. He took her hand, lifting it to his lips. He said quietly, I, Hunjun, promise not to disappear on the girl who sat in the snow with me when I was no one. Not on Valentine's. Not on bad days. Not at all. Tears stung the back of her eyes. She whispered, You're getting really good at this dialogue thing. He replied, I had an excellent writer. Wind swept across the bridge, sending a flurry of snow around them like confetti. She said, voice a little rough, Okay, that's the promise. Now the kiss. He smiled. Yes, ma'am. She slid her hands up his chest, feeling his heart hammer under her palms. She murmured, You're still shaking. He pointed out, So are you. She smiled. Good. If one of us was calm, this would be boring. His laugh came out uneven. Fair point. He dipped his head slower this time, giving her every chance to pull away. She didn't. Their mouths met in the middle of a cloud of their own breath. The kiss wasn't careful now. It was 10 years of held breath. Of what-ifs and almosts unspooling all at once. His lips were warm, sure. One of his hands slid to the small of her back, anchoring her against him. The other cradled the side of her face, thumb brushing her cheekbone like he was memorizing the curve. She melted into him, fingers curling into his coat, the world narrowing to heat and heartbeat, and the soft sound he made when she tilted her head just right. Lights from the bridge washed over them. White, then pale blue, then a faint blush of pink as the fountain cycle changed. When they finally broke apart, lungs burning, he rested his forehead against hers. He whispered, Happy Valentine, Sarah. She smiled, breathless. You're 10 years late, but I'll allow it. He promised. I plan on being early for the rest. She warned, Don't get cocky. You still owe me cotton candy next year. He chuckled. Deal. Down by the water, the river carried away the echo of old fear. Up on the bridge, under falling snow and shifting light, a homeless boy's promise finished transforming into something bigger. Not a ghost story, a love story, and it ended as it was always meant to. With them together on Valentine's and a kiss. If you made it to the end, if you're sitting here feeling every emotion this story put you through, then you're my people. This is what we do here. We tell stories about love that doesn't quit, men who become better because someone believed in them, and Black women who save the world one promise at a time. Hit that subscribe button if you want more stories that wreck you in the best way. Drop a comment and tell me, did June keep his promise the right way? Would you have waited 10 years? And here's something I haven't told you yet. That sponsor who tried to destroy Sarah's career? He's not done. Next week, we're diving into what happens when the rival realizes June's weakness has a name. And trust me, you don't want to miss that. I'll see you there.